Hi crafty friends! In this tutorial I'm going to be showing you how I made this slimline card using some scrapbook.com exclusive products. I also need to say a special thank you to scrapbook.com for providing the stamps, paper pad, pops of color, and dies that you're going to see in action on this project. If you're new here, my name is Nicole LeBlanc and I like to make card making videos here on YouTube. And as always, please check the description box below for product links and more information on this project. Okay, so to get started with this card project today, I have already trimmed down a piece of white cardstock to 3.5 by 8.5 inches. And next up, we're going to be doing just some basic stamping. All the stamping I'm doing today is from one stamp set. It's from scrapbook.com and it's called Spring Sprigs. I went ahead and selected this sort of leafy branch image from the stamp set. And essentially, I'm just going to go ahead and repeatedly stamp that on my card panel. Using an acrylic block and some black dye ink, I'm just stamping this image down while following the natural curvature of the image. This gives me this really fun sort of wreath-like or vine-like pattern, which is really fun on the front of the card. So once I've gone ahead and stamped out this image across my front card panel, I will be stamping it out as well on some colored cardstock. The colored cardstock that I'm using today is also from scrapbook.com. It's all from a slimline paper pad. This is the warm slimline paper pad. And essentially what I did is I just pulled out one page of each of the different colors in the paper pad. And I went ahead and stamped out the image 2 or 3 times on each of these different colors using that black dye ink. So once I go ahead and stamp out all these images, the next step is probably the most time consuming step of the bunch. But I did go ahead and cut out by hand all of these leaves that I stamped on these colored cardstocks. So once I had those leaves cut out, I went ahead and arranged them on my card panel. You'll notice here that I arranged them in sort of a rainbow order, starting with the yellows, then oranges, then reds across my card panel. To make this rainbow order was actually very easy as I just literally followed the color order that these papers are in the paper pad. So what you can see here is that one by one, I'm just slowly picking up these tiny cutout leaves and adhering them down to my card front, just using a little bit of liquid glue. The liquid glue that I'm using today is from scrapbook.com as well. This is the Craft Smart mini liquid glue. And essentially, I'm just picking up those leaves one by one, putting that dot of glue down, and then setting those leaves back down, lining it up with that stamped image below. So once I went ahead and adhered all of those leaves, I wanted to trim down my card panel. So to trim down my card panel today, I am using this slimline nested rounded rectangle die, also from scrapbook.com. This die in particular is the third largest one in that nested die set. And essentially I just lined it up in the middle here of my card panel. And I'm gonna go ahead and stick that down using some low tack tape. And then off screen, I'll be running that through my die cutting machine. So while I was die cutting that, I also went ahead and cut out one slightly larger of the nested rectangles out of the darkest color from that same warm paper pad. So I'm going to go ahead and start adhering my card together. So I have that red rectangle here, and I'm just sticking that down using some permanent adhesive roller from scrapbook.com. And I'm sticking that down to a card base. This is a Slimline Nina Solar White card. You can also buy these from scrapbook.com. They come pre-cut and pre-scored, so super easy to use. You'll note here that I did accidentally just adhere that rectangle just a smidge too much to the left. So I did go ahead and just trim off that little sliver of extra white cardstock on the right side of my card panel. For my sentiment today, I decided I wanted to make my own sentiment. So I cut out the phrase love you using some alpha dies from scrapbook.com. These are the tall, skinny alphabet dies. And I went ahead and cut those out in both the darkest color of cardstock in that paper pad, as well as just some white cardstock. So I'm just stacking those dies together just to make them a little bit thicker to add some added dimension here to my card project. So once I had those two layers of alpha dies adhered together, I am going to go ahead here and just start lining them up. So what I'm doing here is I'm lining up the alpha dies on my grid mat to make sure that the alphas are both straight up and down as well as evenly spaced. And I find that lining them up on a grid mat like this is the easiest way to adhere alpha dies. So essentially what I like to do is line them all up, and then when I'm happy with the placement, I'm going to grab a piece of low tack tape and very carefully stick that down across the top of all of the letters here at once. This is going to let me pick up all the letters at once, keeping their placement exactly the same. I can then flip that piece of tape over and very carefully adhere, add some liquid glue to the back of these letters so that I'll be able to adhere them all at once to my card. So like I say, this is my very favorite way to adhere alphas to any kind of card project. So I'm just going to line that up, stick that down, give that just a couple moments here to dry, and then I'm going to peel back my low tack tape, and you'll see here that all my letters haven't budged. They're going to stay exactly where I left them on the front of that card panel. At this point, my card project is almost done, just time to do a little bit of embellishing. So for embellishments today, I decided I wanted to add some fun drops using this orange sherbet pops of color from scrapbook.com. So I'm just going to go ahead here and add a few dots of those scattered in and around my sort of leafy vine designs. At this point, I wanted to note that these dots do come in other colors as well, including yellow and red. So I think it would be fun to maybe remake this project, but maybe keeping the rainbow, with those dots as well, using some different colored dots along the card panel. I think that would be really fun. And the last thing I'm going to do here to this card project here is just add a little bit of something here to my sentiment here on my card front. So to make these die cuts just stand out here just a little bit more, I'm just taking my clear shimmer glitter brush marker from scrapbook.com and adding some glitter across the front of those letters. So at this point here, we're just going to take a couple final looks here at the project. And I just want to say thank you so much again to scrapbook.com for sending me those really fun goodies to play with and make this project today. Like I say, I had a lot of fun with it. And if you'd like to see some more crafty inspiration, I invite you to go ahead and click those other videos here on the screen to see some other fun card making projects. And until next time, I hope you are keeping it crafty. Bye!